Welcome to episode 21 of the Realtors. Our podcast is officially able to drink. I'm David Blair. He's Trevin Perez. How's it going, Trevin?
Hey, let's go. 21, Savage 21 episode. We're ready for this. We're able to drink on these episodes now. Hey, man, it's 2025. We are feeling it.
Yes,
How are you?
exactly. I'm good. I am really good. I'm awaiting. I'm going to be a grandfather. We've talked about that. So that could be. It's supposed to be any day, any time. Could be today.
Any
My bet was for the 20th. I'm a Capricorn. I wanted my grandson to be one, but we've got a limited time for that to happen. I've only got 8 more hours for that to actually be a reality, and then he switches over into the age of Aquarius and becomes an
Oh
Aquarius.
my
Yeah,
God.
Aquarius.
All right. So what can we do? Can you talk to the doctors? Can you talk to the nurses? Can you ask your son to slip the nurse a little money to help induce labor so we make sure we do it in this 8-hour period?
I sent him a link, and the link is, different ways that you can induce labor. Walking by 35%. They recommend walking. So, I was asking my wife, I'm like, do they know this? They're younger. They're in their early 30s. I'm like, do they know that this is what you're supposed to do? They're not just sitting around, texting each other and talking about this thing instead of actually going out and walking or beating the streets. But I'll just wait for the call.
Wait,
That's
wait,
all I can
wait.
do.
Are you implying that she's in labor, she's going through the process that she should go outside in her gown and walk the streets of Jacksonville, waiting for the inducement of her to expand enough to welcome in baby David?
It's cold in Northeast Florida today. I mean, so obviously I don't want her out in frigid weather. It is cold. It's in the 30s today.
Oh,
Uh, it's a little breezy, so unusually cold weather for us. But no, I mean there's stairs in the house. Stairs is another thing they recommend. That seems unsafe, though. I think if you're just
yes.
pregnant, as a pregnant lady going down up and down stairs, it doesn't sound like a good idea.
No.
So
Are they at the hospital?
nope, not yet, not yet.
Oh man. Okay.
Still at home giving updates when I reach out. I don't want to be that. You don't want to be that overbearing parent to where you're constantly saying, hey, what's going on, but at the same time, if he's going to text me at 2 o'clock in the morning and ask me to go up to the hospital, then
You had a chance. You should have had the baby during reasonable hours, son.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Oh gosh. All right. Well,
yeah.
we wish him and the mom to be the safest pregnancy and to have the best and healthiest 10 finger, 10 toes bundle of joy
Yeah.
whenever she shows up. Wait, we know the sex though, right?
Yep, it is going to be a boy. Yeah, so it's a
Okay.
grandson. So there'll be another Blair in this world here in the next week or so, which is yeah. We need more. We need more.
Oh, that's awesome. What's his name going to be?
It's going to be Cooper. Last name, of course, Blair. Now, see, so now this was a point of contention a couple of weeks ago. We had a conversation. They came over for dinner, and we were talking about the middle name. So my name is David Joseph Blair. My dad's name was Joseph David Blair, and my son Trent's name is Trenton Joseph Blair. So to me, I just thought it was a foregone conclusion that Joseph would be Cooper's middle name. It would be Cooper Joseph Blair. I had CJ all planned out. And then he springs on me that they're maybe considering some other alternatives. Perhaps her grandfather or his grandfather, their middle names, got kind of thrown into there. So we'll see. I'll wait until it's official and it's on the little card and the little clear basket that they put the kids in after you have them, and we'll see. Hopefully, I get a good surprise. If not, I'll try to hide my disappointment.
Right.
We'll see.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. Well,
We'll
best
see.
of luck to the family coming up here in moments. It's going to be like a time clock. The countdown is here.
Yeah.
Hey, for our audience, guess what time you think the baby will arrive. That would be really good. If you win something, you get something.
Yeah, we'll do that. I'll gladly give out a little special prize or reward to whoever's closest in time. So we started doing our picks last Friday. This past Friday, we heard, okay, what could be any day now. The doctor didn't think she was going to make it to her upcoming appointment this week, which was Wednesday or Thursday of this week. So we think anytime now. And her actual due date was the 25th, which is that Friday? Yeah, Friday. I think so.
Possibly.
Yeah. So we'll see. So what's up with you? Enough about me. What's going on with you?
Hey man, I'm not expecting to be a granddad. My kids are teenagers, so thank God. Um, and
You're not hoping to be a granddad.
hey, I am not.
Yeah.
I will not be a granddad anytime soon. So help me God. So yeah, no children on the alert here on this front. Pretty boring. No countdowns in the next 12 hours or so to hit Capricorn. I'm a Leo. Let's go
hmm
Leos in
hmm
August. Capricorns. Ugh. You know, so nothing exciting there. I'm just working, man. It's January 2025, and we're
hmm
knocking out the changes with NAR and how we interact with clients. It's been an interesting few weeks of the year so far. So we're calling this Days of Our Lives
Yeah.
for the audience sake, because it truly is a soap opera at every
Yeah.
single moment. I'll just start off and say that I shed a tear, a mental tear, David, because I worked really hard on a deal with buyers, and we ended up having to cancel the deal. I was like,
Oof.
oh. Luckily, it ends happy,
hmm
but I wasn't expecting a cancellation.
hmm
Have you had to deal with any cancellations this year?
Close. I have one that we actually just got resolved. I think we're going to get it resolved today. And of all things, it was an appraisal issue. We had a property. I was representing the buyer. Beautiful home. Went in, made an offer at list price. Property only been on the market for a few days. It looked like it was getting a lot of attention. The buyers really wanted to secure it, so they made a strong offer. And then the appraisal happened a couple weeks after that, and it didn't appraise. It appraised $20,000 less. There were a couple of things in the appraisal that I could disagree with, as far as some comps that were used, some adjustments that weren't made regarding bedrooms. This was a 4 bedroom versus a 3. So we, as you know, on the buying side, when you're representing a buyer, that's usually a good thing. From a buyer standpoint, you want to be able to go back and renegotiate. From a seller side, it's never a good thing. So the seller obviously felt differently in that, and that we should go ahead and proceed with a reevaluation to see if we could get that appraiser to bring that value up to our contract price. As you know, that's extremely difficult and rarely happens. I don't know if I've ever had an appraiser go back in, do a reevaluation, and then get the property back up to what the contract value was. So that was the case here. They reviewed it and determined we're going to stand on the appraisal that was completed. So I think we're going to be able to work it out. The seller's going to make some adjustments in accepting that price. They're asking everyone to kind of get involved and kind of a all hands on deck. Adjust some commissions, some closing costs that were initially offered. So I think if everyone pitches in and we do that, we'll keep the deal together and we'll end up closing here in a couple weeks. So
Nice. No, that's awesome. Well, yeah, I mean, like I was telling you, we had that cancellation, and it was rightly so. I was repping the buyers. The sellers didn't want to play ball in regards to negotiating on repairs or credits, just really anything. And luckily, my seller had the intuition to know that these sellers, my buyer had good intuition to know that the sellers had something else going on. They were also in the process of buying another home at the same
mm,
time. So
mhm,
their deal was fraught with challenges as well. And it caused them to sort of backpedal. And in their backpedaling, I think it was really strong that they didn't want to sell, or they didn't want to drop their price. They probably thought if they come back on the market in springtime, maybe they could not have to worry about any concessions, because they
Hmm.
really
Sure.
believed that their home didn't require any credit. And so, case in point, and we've talked about this before, the water heater was over 15 years old. Now,
Hmm.
granted, we think water heaters can go for 30 years, but in this scenario, the insurance broker who quoted us insurance said, you cannot get insurance with that water heater. So that was one thing that had to go. And
Yeah.
then the air conditioner was 18 years old. So, even though we could get insurance with that, you kind of want to at least have a game plan, a credit, insurance policy, something, knowing that that AC was going to go bad soon. So, needless to say, I thought it was a good decision of my buyers to walk away, and we found another property, and today we did the inspection on that property.
Hmm.
So we went and did the whole thing, radon, mold, pool, and traditional inspection. So fingers are crossed. I'm looking forward to potentially a good, solid transaction that might close.
Yeah.
Fingers
Yeah.
crossed, right?
Definitely. Well, so
So,
one thing just to let people out there know, when you mentioned the water heater and why that's important. For a while there, I didn't know. I'm like, okay, well, we've got the 4 point inspection, and why is that so important? Um, I spoke with an insurance rep last month, and we were talking about the different things that maybe can be an issue with financing or insurance. The water heater is one, and it depends on location. I don't know if you've heard that or not. I've heard it can depend on location of where that's at. If it's in the garage, it's not as big of a deal. And the thought process with that is that if that water heater does just go kaput, let's say maybe it just drains out, what kind of damage is it going to do to the property? Well, a lot of that depends on where it's located at. If it's in an upstairs area to where it could leak, possibly you could have some more damage. If it's in a garage, not that big of a deal because it's going out into the garage floor area. But I have seen some insurance companies to where they've said, okay, we'll allow it if it's in an outer utility room, garage area, without having to be replaced. Have you seen the same thing with regard to that?
no, because in this scenario, here locally in Central Florida, the water heater was in the garage and they still required us to
Really?
replace it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think with just all of the insurance claims that are
Hmm.
coming, I think the insurance providers are so skittish about everything, you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
So,
So big things happening in the in world events. We've got a presidential inauguration. We've got a change in administration
was
that's
that the
taking.
big thing? I'm sorry to cut you off. I thought the bigger thing was that Trump brought back TikTok. Let's go.
That too. Hey, that too. That too. If you're a TikToker out there, and we enjoy viewing videos on there. We post our videos on there as well as through Instagram and through Reels and through YouTube. Hence the podcast that we're doing. If you haven't subscribed, go ahead and take care of that. So yeah, he I think the world was saved a little bit, as far as the TikTok world out there, because he stepped in and said it's very popular. TikTok is very popular. It's a very good site. He made it happen.
Was that your voice imitation there?
It was terrible, but it
You
was.
got to practice that. You got to do the hands.
Yeah, it is. It's a lot of the hands. It's a lot of breathing. It's a lot of
Oh,
just
nasal. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Totally. Totally.
So what do you think changes? What do you think? I mean, I've heard that he's going to day one. There's up to like 100 executive orders that he has in place. Um, I don't. Believe me, I wish one of those. He doesn't control that. I wish one of those was correct housing market immediately. But I think we're gonna find out that that's gonna take some time throughout this year. A little bit of a slow start, I think, this year as far as some activity. You've had some good successes so far this year, but you foresee any changes that we can maybe expect with new administration, new hope? interest rates, maybe go down, stock market, goes up. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, it's been a faster pace month for me than the last fourth quarter. So I'm grateful for that. But yeah, I think that the big change that we should be seeing is the hope. I mean, for sure, hope is a big one. The influence on this whole, "Make America Great" statement, comment,
Again,
rally should
again.
reflect should reflect in some positive executive orders or movement in our market. I mean, he can't control the financial market.
Mhm,
That's what's his name, Bernanke or whoever it is in control on that space. But
mhm,
I don't know. I think that what I've read so far is that a lot of the powers that be, at least that we read online, say that interest rates are likely stay in the neighborhood they're in. I think the days of those lower rates are probably over, especially until we get a handle on how he's going to handle tariffs, right?
mhm.
Because the tariff increase on China and all these other imports are going to cause fees and costs to go higher for us. And I've heard from several companies online saying that their corporate costs are going to go up. So they're sort of sheltering a little extra savings to deal with that. So but I think at the end of the day, it's still hope that the market's going to improve greatly. And let's face it, I think that buyers can't wait anymore, right? I
Yeah.
feel like the trajectory of this market is going to go like every other year, where it gets a little bit of a running start as we hit spring and summer. It's just going to be a gangbuster, God willing,
Mhm, mhm.
you know.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I've got. We both talked about new listings that we're taking on. I've got a new listing that we're going to put on the market here in the next couple of days, and I think that now is the time that a lot of agents, if you're a buyer out there, just so you kind of know, a lot of agents, I think like ourselves, are working on inventory. You kind of building your inventory up for that push in the spring, February, March time period, I think is going to probably pick back up. I've had sellers reach out to me this week that were on the market last year that said, hey, do you want to, are you still interested in working with us this upcoming year on selling our property? And certainly, yes, you want to do that. But I'm a little selective because I do take a look and I want to be honest with sellers and let them know, you know, if there hasn't been a major change in comparables that were there last year for what properties were selling for as to this year, you've got to just kind of set some realistic expectations. It's a new year, and I think with that kind of brings some new hope in regards to changes in the real estate market. But the comps are the comps are the comps. I mean, so what is out there and what has sold and what you're competing with has a big impact on where you can price that property at, and then ultimately how quickly the property ends up selling. I think you had a couple listings that your new inventory went under contract, didn't it? Your new stuff.
Yeah, so I had a condo that I listed 6, 7 days ago. The
Mhm.
first offer, we went back and forth on a couple of rounds of countering, and we're under contract as of last night. So that was surprisingly good because I thought condos, would be the slower of all properties, even though they're priced right. But
Mhm.
for the sake of the audience, some condo communities with HOAs don't support FHA financing.
Right.
And FHA is selective and they have to go through a condo questionnaire to get financing approved for the entire complex. So, I'm not a lender, so I don't know the ins and outs of it, but typically condominiums are all not the same and they all don't support FHA. So I thought that was pretty surprising. And it was a conventional buyer who got in, gave us the number. And so now we're under contract, which is great. And everything else is pending. So I'm just like, oh shoot, I got to start prospecting and
Yeah.
start
Yeah.
calling up some of these old clients. Now, what I've been doing, and I'm sure you have too, I've been looking at sales in some areas that were slow last year for clients who left the market. to
Hmm.
see if there's enough activity to say, hey, look at what's happening here, right? We've had a couple of sales in your neighborhood. We should come back.
Hmm.
So that's what I'm trying to work on right now.
Yeah, yeah, same here. I took a look at, we talked in the last couple of weeks about just new things that you do, to start the year, business planning. We both kind of talked about that as far as business planning. I'm actively still working on the business plan for this year, trying to look at, I already kind of know average price of sales and things like that. So I'm looking at bigger picture, new things that I want to maybe try as far as tapping into some markets. um, as you know, I did some OfferPad stuff last year, still connected with that company somewhat, in that we have zones that we work out of as far as leads that come from that. So I'm just looking at a lot of different, trying to cast a lot of lines in the water this year to look at some different opportunities as far as lead opportunities that come back. Because you either get your business from your repeat business, from your customers, your sphere or your circle of influence, people that you do business with every day, or it's through new business. New business has to be generated through some type of lead system, whether it's with your company, that your broker, puts out there as far as leads that they bring back to you through the brokerage, or things that we do independently. Whether it's a Zillow, Realtor.com, any of the number of lead services that are out there. So my thought is that I'll continue to work on that. Probably through this first quarter, and then just see what's working. I got my Inner Excellence book is coming through Amazon. I don't know if you saw the recent AJ Brown. I'm not a Philadelphia Eagle fan. If you're an Eagle fan, I'm sorry for you. As you can tell behind me, I don't support that football team. But he was caught on the sideline reading this book. Did you see this a couple of weeks ago?
I heard about it, and I heard that the book is like selling like crazy. What is it
Yeah,
called?
it's called Inner Excellence,
I'm
and it
writing
was
it down.
it was designed so if you Google that, you can go on and you can see the author of the book went to pretty interesting story. Yeah, went into the desert to write this book, and it's not just for athletes. I think he designed it for athletes and for their mental approach to the game, and just trying to achieve things at a higher level. But from what he had said, you can use that in any phase of your life and or business. So you can either be the best possible wide receiver like AJ Brown, who's not the best wide receiver. It's CeeDee Lamb for the Cowboys. Or you can try to be the best realtor like Trevin Perez. You can be the best plumber. You can be the best line cook. Whatever, by reading this book. The book was only $15, so it's not a huge investment in that. So I'm gonna read that this week, and
Nice.
we're gonna see. I think I'm expecting great things.
Nice. I like that. I like that a
Yeah.
lot because let's face it, right? The biggest battles in our business, in every single business, but especially when you work for, everyone thinks we work for ourselves when we have a broker who we're assigned to, and it's a corporate entity we're part of. It's a job.
Yep.
And the bigger challenge is sometimes those mental blocks, or those just those that mental challenge that we say to ourselves, and it kind of steps in the way of everything that we're doing. It's funny. I was talking to a colleague of mine from a few years back. I was on a team with, and the guy went on to do some seriously big things. Went from residential to commercial. Now retired himself from the business, and
Hmm.
just literally comes back and will give these sessions at different brokerages. I'm sure he's trying to keep building his network, keep expanding, keep growing, keep leveraging. He was really always good at leveraging, but my God, I got to talk to him over the weekend when I was at a client's house. We're closing on Thursday. So I got
Hmm.
to see them, and they saw the house one last time. We locked everything up, and we're taking pictures, and man, the emotion on their face was pretty like heartfelt, man. I was like, trying to pull back tears. I was like, okay, this is like we're not. Someone didn't die, but they were there at
Yeah.
the house for 8 years where their son was born,
Yeah.
and just really cool. So I had some time to talk with this guy and just learn about where his business has grown, and it's just like remarkable, man. Like what we do mentally really does shape the direction of our future. So I like that. I might have to pick that book up. You should have told me. We could have done like a reading. What is that called when we get books together and we read chapters together and we
A
talk
book
about
club.
it?
Yeah.
A book
Book
club.
club. Mhm.
All
Yeah.
right. So we're gonna have our first book club for the realtors. It's like the
Well,
Oprah book club.
what was amazing about it was they said that he was caught on the sideline, and he wasn't benched, but he just wasn't playing. He wasn't in on plays, and he was reading the book. So they scanned it the first time. They saw him reading the book, but then they saw the actual cover, which leads to some speculation if it was a plant, because you could see the actual cover of what he was reading. But the sales skyrocketed, took that book to become the bestseller on Amazon. The percentage of what it increased from the week prior to that was like something ridiculous. Like it was a 500,000% increase over the week before, as far as sales. So
That's
I
amazing.
jumped in. I added a small percentage to that. I've got my book. I think it's Amazon says it'll be here on Wednesday. So I expect nothing less than a changed man by probably Friday afternoon, roughly somewhere in there. We'll
I'm
see.
mad you didn't tell me about the book. I really am. I'm
We'll see.
disappointed in you.
I think you're going to notice. You're going to notice the change
I'm gonna see a
immediately.
change.
Yeah, you're
I'm
going to
going to
you're going
be
to see.
watching. The world is going to be watching to see how much
Yeah,
change we
yeah.
see in
You're
you.
going to see you're going to see the change immediately. Um, Other things going on in real estate. So we talked about new things that you want to kind of do this month. Headshot. I've got to do. I'm going to do a new headshot. My headshot is not that old. I don't know. I think you've got some. Yours is up to date, but the benefit, I think, of being follically challenged, is that you don't have to update. I mean, you look, how long have you gone with your current dude? For a little bit since I've known you, I think.
It takes a lot of effort and time. Don't be
Yeah,
jealous, but I'm in the
yeah,
mirror working on this.
yeah. I mean, you
And then
didn't
we'll
have
get
the
to it. Huh?
you didn't have the kid in play when we met in 2020. I mean, this is the
Yeah,
same head I've seen for the last 4 years, 4+ years.
true.
So
That is
yeah,
true. But you never know. Don't be surprised if I show up with like long, flowy hair and I'm doing this.
the
You wait, it's coming. It's coming. You know, Hair Club for Men want to
yeah,
sponsor the
yeah.
podcast, and so I said, come and give me, give me the results, and then I could be a sponsor.
So new headshots for me at the end of this month. Um, I'll probably try to use your photographer if he ever calls me back. I know
Dope.
you've got him. I know you've got him locked down into your private photo sessions and tours that you guys do. Uh, hope, Hopefully he'll take enough time to answer my call, and we can do new photos. So we're going to do that, and we're going to do a lot of new type marketing. I think we're going to try to expand in some areas that we maybe weren't looking at last year. Um, I see things this type of year. We're all inundated with all kinds of different new ways of promoting yourself, your brand, your business. Any one thing that you think you're going to try to concentrate on here in the next quarter?
I'll tell you, I think the one thing that I'm going to focus on this year and do more religiously is just going to be, having more phone calls with past clients,
Yeah,
potentially seeing past clients if I can. Just really touch the people who've already seen the light, seen the experience, loved the experience, and it's like spend more time with them, and then they're going to be encouraged to say, who do you know that want that same experience in relationship, so I think that's the one thing I gotta do above all things.
yeah, yeah. I
What's
agree.
yours?
I showed some property this weekend, and it's a unique situation. It's a customer that we're going to sell their property probably within the next 30 to 60 days. They had looked at new construction. They've kind of felt that maybe they don't want to go in that direction any longer. So we're actually starting to look at some resale product that's out there. And it was actually a lot of fun. I think if you can, try not to make this, this process, if you will, as stressful as it can be. This is obviously the biggest purchase anyone's going to make, but and they want what they want. The buyer, they were very picky on, these are the things that we like, these are the things that we don't like. So I'm not saying you have to concede on what you want in a property, but the we just had some fun conversations just through looking at the house. Some, the little sidebar of talking to your buyer about little quirky things that you saw in the house, and you're kind of wondering or speculating, why that was there, why the seller did that, those kind of things. But we had some fun conversations, and I think, like to your point, building that relationship and that rapport. I'm confident that we're gonna get their property sold. We're gonna find them something else, and I've got a good feeling that, I've made a friend and a customer that would likely refer me to someone else, and that's kind of what our business is about, is making contacts, kind of sharing. This is what I do. I'm passionate about my work, and I'm really good at my job, and getting people to engage and work with you. So I think you're definitely on point with that. The other things are just noise, bells and whistles. We
Yeah.
get, the Tom Ferry. We were talking about him last week. So Tom Ferry had talked about realtors and how easily distracted we can be with that shiny new thing that we see over here. You're kind of like the cat with the laser. You're like, hey, this is lead. Look at this prospecting. So you're off into a different direction. And I can relate to that, because we're, as realtors, you're inundated with that. It comes into your algorithm through TikTok. It comes into your Facebook. I looked at. I think I talked to my wife about pavers last week. We have a paver patio area, and I was like, really I want to have those sealed. We had it done a couple of years ago. I'm like, really want to have that sealed. And I kid you not, since we had that conversation, my feed through Facebook has no less than daily has no less than 6 to 7 paver companies that are in there that want to come out and give a quote.
That's crazy. Yeah, they're listening to everything we say.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. So, well, that's all I have for this week. What else have you got?
Hey, I think that that's it for this week. I think it was a good episode. I'm glad that we got to connect and get live, and especially on today. Today was inaugural day for, your president. Is he 46 or 47? The 47th president?
Um, yeah, the cat
46.
was. Yeah. So quick history. Quick history. Now, and I don't know the answer to this, because I'm not that up on my history. So there was one other president that was elected, lost the next term, and then was reelected. Who was that president? Do you know?
Damn.
It's an older guy. I think I say an older guy. It's somebody like Taft or somebody like that. It's not. It's
Okay.
I don't know who it is, but I mean they were. I was watching part of the inauguration today, and they were talking about but I don't think they said it by name on who that
Right.
president was. But he is the second president who was reelected. But yeah, he's everyone's president. He's everyone's president for now. And I think, regardless of where you sit on that side of it, um, you know, hopefully he does good things. Hopefully he does good things with a mind of, you know, service. Give service to all people. So hopefully that occurs. We'll see.
Absolutely. Absolutely. We pray. We all
Yeah,
pray the country is greater and better and safer.
yeah,
So here, here.
awesome. Well, thanks again for tuning in. If you haven't subscribed already, subscribe. Go to our YouTube channel, hit that like button. We put out content every Friday at 5 o'clock. Trevin, anything else?
That's it. We thank you for your time, and we look forward to connecting with you next week. Have a great one.
Have a good week. Thanks.